Hello and welcome to the 10th anniversary of Bloomberg Down Under.
Mike, we're up on the roof. We're just working up to the 10-year celebration. We made it. We've got our clients coming in for a quick drink with us in a spare floor down here in the building. And we've got 500 of them coming, and I just want to say a personal thanks very much for looking out for us, and we're still here and we're looking forward to seeing you.
It's Wednesday the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day, and after much preparation, everything is ready for the guests to arrive. A great deal of effort was made to ensure an evening to die for. Each department represented by its own stand. And while the champagne flowed freely, along with the green Guinness, guests were
Ladies and gentlemen, I just first of all want to kick off by welcoming you all here, suppliers, colleagues, competitors.
Having welcomed everyone, a tape was played, ending with a special thank you message from Mike himself.
Hi, I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I just wanted to thank you for 10 years of hospitality. You've made us feel at home in your country. We've never forgotten that we are guests there, and we deeply appreciate the kindness that you've shown us, and we hope we brought something to help your markets and your economy. We owe a great debt to you. Thank you for the last 10 years.
Can you hear me? Is that okay? Great, fantastic. I just want to go very quickly.
Forever the salesman, Trevor then dispensed the virtues of the all-important anniversary black bag.
Underneath all those desks is the show bag. In the show bag, there's some very handy items. We've got the Mark IV coffee mug. Do not miss this little guy. This is a little LCD clock. There's the 10-year t-shirt. This means that nobody on a workstation can ever sneak up behind you ever again, right? They're generally all extra, extra, extra large. So just make sure if you've got nothing else, you go home with one of those, all right?
With that done, Trevor continued to amuse with his favourite memories of the past decade.
Hands up, anybody who ever saw one of these? Anybody here old enough to admit it? There's one there, one there. I remember doing my first demo. I was kind of nervous and I was banging away on the keyboard, and the N key pinged off of the keyboard and hit the head of FX at Commonwealth Bank straight in the eye. It was too, and they've still never bought me terminal tickets. I just got to thank you all and my staff, the people I've worked with, our suppliers, and especially our clients. Thanks very much for 10 years. We appreciate it.
Are you enjoying this evening?
Yeah, very nice. It's great. Oh, it's a great function. Very good.
It's been a very interesting and informative evening.
This is a wonderful way to spend St. Patrick's Day.
Lovely evening to be here, actually.
We shouldn't have to wait for every 10 years for me to do this. I think the city office should take this over and make this their volleyball court.
Where are you from? I'm from Reuters, actually.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Now, how do you use Bloomberg?
We have a couple of terminals.
Bloomberg has probably more of a range of data than probably any other source you can get.
The service is fantastic. I just like the whole global perspective. Very kind of Bloomberg to invite me this evening.
That's all right. We're quite philosophical about these things. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks, Brendan. Enjoyed it very much. See you. Bye.
Okay, Mike, great party. It couldn't have gone better. Everything worked. The workstation concept was just brilliant, interspace throughout the floor. Our people worked as a team, explaining what they do, team to team. and we had all of our users and their technical representatives in the main in that floor, and they're still saying what a great night. Image building and morale building for this office, you couldn't beat it. There are some other things. Obviously, you're down in June, Stockbrokers Awards, which is sponsoring Matthew Talbot Hostel. This is really where we make a difference at street level. We've done it for 2 years. Folks really appreciate it, and they're looking forward to seeing you that night. The other thing that happened this month was the competition, as you know, from the Jersey at Duke University. The women's team won the whole competition, ably assisted by yours truly, who was talked into training them. The guys, not so lucky, they missed out by 1 point to INSEAD of France, but as you can see, the reporting was great. Tournament rugby, good practice for next wave of CEOs. I have to say, you know, a quarter of them were our clients, and another quarter were considering being so. I'd like to sponsor this worldwide down here next year, mate. Thanks for the last 10 years. I say again, look forward to seeing you in June. Goodbye.
100 years from now, not one of us will be here, but the legend of Trevor Jarrett will surpass all of time. So rarely is a man the center of such deliberation. So seldom are we met with such diverse observations. We would like to invite you on a journey of discovery in an attempt to understand this bewildering craftsman we've all come to know and love as Trevor Jarrett.
Hello, I'm Brendan Trimbath in Sydney. Stay with us as we pay tribute to one of the greatest salesmen since Willy Loman. And joining us live from New York is another long-serving salesman, Mike Bloomberg. Mike, Trevor Jarrett, how did he get the job?
Who?
Trevor Jarrett! Do I need to do the voice?
Is that the person that calls all the time? I could never understand the word. I can never understand the word the guy says, so I don't know.
I've got a few people here who claim to know him. Let me check with them. Jean Van Rinken, I understand you have a question for Mike about this mysterious Trevor Jarrett.
Yes, thank you, Brendan. Mike, it's under much speculation, but to your recollection, what did Trevor actually do pre-Bloomberg?
I don't think he did anything pre-Bloomberg, and if he did, it was probably in a cave with a club. Actually, Trevor claims one time he was a lawyer in England. I have said nasty things about the English periodically, but I don't think that even they could have put up with Trevor Jarrett.
10 years is a long time, Mike. Is there any particular evening or event or a particular incident that will always first come to mind when you think of Trevor Jarrett?
Do you mean to say the last time I had dinner with Trevor, it lasted 10 years? I thought it just seemed that way.
Here in Sydney, we have adopted from Trevor the term, way to go. And this is used as the highest form of praise for achievement and has become part of our office culture. We often abbreviate it WTG on emails. Now, in recent product meeting notes, we saw Stuart Bell using the WTG acronym, and in fact, I've heard you use it in a recent interview. Is this just another case of top management at Bloomberg emulating Trevor?
We certainly don't emulate Trevor any place except perhaps in the bathroom.
Would your love for flying ever compel you to join the ranks of Richard Branson in an attempt to circumnavigate the globe in a balloon? And if so, would you consider Trevor as your co-pilot with the secure knowledge that he was once an air traffic controller?
What we would consider Trevor for would be ballast that we can throw overboard when we want to go further up. He'd make the perfect ballast. He's got the mentality of most of the things you throw overboard out of a balloon.
Mike, looking historically, the English sent a famed adventurer out here some years ago, Captain William Bligh. He had a slight staff morale problem and later was the Governor of New South Wales. Would you care to comment on Trevor Jarrett's management style?
Well, the difference between Captain Bligh and Trevor is that when they mutinied, the British government didn't seem pleased. Whereas if you guys were to mutiny against Trevor and run him up the yardarm, I think you'd get kudos from all our offices around the world.
What's the strangest place that Trevor has called you from, and has he ever finished a coherent sentence with you?
Vanuatu, wherever that is, he's called me from, and in terms of a cogent sentence, he hasn't had a cogent phrase.
If there's one thing that you would not change about Trevor Jarrett, what would it be?
The part of the world he lives in, we don't want him over here. If you think about it, we've put Trevor as far away physically from the rest of us as we possibly can. That was not an accident. That's good management on my part. Good management and good taste.
Knock me down with a feather, clever Trevor. Why brows wonder whether clever Trevor's clever? Either have they got, nor neither haven't not got no right to make a clock out of Trevor.
The first time we ever met, we realised that we both have a common background in the music industry. As Trevor sort of came through the ranks when he was in England looking after bands, which is what I had done for 10 years. So we hit it off straight away with old witty sayings and things that go on in the music industry. So we actually got a personal relationship happening before the professional kicked in.
I think Trevor had only been on a bike maybe once or twice before, and this particular track, it's not one of the easiest, I should point out, and Trevor had a few crashes that day. He lost quite a bit of bark on his knees, elbows, shoulders.
One question that's under much speculation is what Trevor actually did before he worked at Bloomberg. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, Trevor always keeps telling me, John, I'm not a technical person. Yet somewhere along the lines, he keeps telling me, well, I remember those days when I used to program System 38s.
I could never make out whether he was a plumber or a rock and roll star.
I thought he sold cattle.
I could see right from the first day that he was a bit of a frustrated computer programmer. I distinctly remember him being a barrister in London.
Oh, look, there are various rumours, and I think most of them are unsubstantiated, all sorts of things about the aeronautics industry, about the computer industry, and yeah, I think he's done a bit of everything.
Air traffic control, he managed Led Zeppelin, he was a bond trader, he was a cattle tagger, some electronic cattle thing I was reading recently. Barrister, he was a barrister.
Do you think that there's any truth to the rumor that Trevor was actually the lead singer for Jethro Tull in 1979?
You know, I've thought that. I've thought that a lot.
He's got a lot of strange claims out there, doesn't he? And the Led Zeppelin story, I mean, apparently he's helped launch Led Zeppelin.
There's quite a few big bands he's launched. And
Yeah.
he actually's got some witty stories. Like he happened
really
to know
does.
that Jimmy Page's sister was called Dot, which took us, we had hour-long conversations over the coincidences of that, because my brother being Jimmy,
yeah,
and my name being Dot, that sort of, we hit it off straight away.
Led Zeppelin in the men's room. God only knows what he did.
You just want the truth, do you? What I did was, when I was 16, I left school with no exams. I was a lathe worker. They thought I was a bright lathe worker, so I became something called a student apprentice, but the pay wasn't very good, so I held a strike and they fired me. I went back to college, got some exams, ended up at university, did a degree in philosophy, because I don't think any other course would have me. I went into the law, ended up qualified as a junior barrister, worked a bit in computing here and communications, did a cattle auctioning system, which was lots of fun, doing my own software company, and I won a contract at the Futures Exchange, got offered a job by Bloomberg. Dot said, well, actually, my brother's just reforming the Yardbirds. They're not going to be called the Yardbirds, they're a little band called Led Zeppelin. And I said, oh, well, do you think they could, she said, well, they're off to the States to release their first album, and yeah, they could probably do some practice. So we put them on as the second band in the local college, and it was the first time they'd ever been on stage. And we had a very famous band called Deep Purple, and of course nobody's heard of Deep Purple, and everybody's heard of Led Zeppelin.
If there's one thing that you would not want to change about the Trev, what would it be?
That I would not want to change about the Trev? Oh my gosh.
That lovely smile he always wears. That's the one thing I wouldn't let him change.
Put me on the spot there. I can't. I can't.
And it's his enthusiasm for what he does.
His enthusiasm for capturing opportunity in a very immediate way.
I think Trevor needs a full rebuild.
The thing I love about Trevor is the way he said,
right. He's always shown to me to be truly a wonderful human being and good-spirited and good-natured with a fantastic heart, but always does the right thing by everybody. And all kidding aside, that is the thing that I would not change.
I think that's an enthusiasm for the job.
His tenacity.
His selling manner. His gift of the gab.
He has a generous heart, and I wouldn't have him change that for a minute.
Trevor, it is really amazing. You've done such a spectacular job, so much better than anybody ever thought. After all, nobody ever thought with somebody with as little talent as you could go so far. And it just shows that Bloomberg really is a big company, that we can accommodate all kinds of people with all levels of ability. And most people in this company appreciate what you do for them. You set the bottom end of the curve, and somebody has to do it. On behalf of the rest of us, Trevor, thank you.
Do you have any parting comments for Trevor in perhaps the next 10 years?
Trevor, all I can say is I really like your outfitting style for officers. I wish you'd come and teach ASX how to build aquariums.
Have a great party, Trev. Don't overdo it. Remember the old country.
It's an amazing 10 years, Trevor. All the best, and I'll see you around.
Trevor is a unique. There's only one Trevor. Someone is saying thank God, but there is only one Trevor, and it's been a real pleasure to know him all these years. We've had our moments, but you know, I can shout at Trevor and scream and call him all sorts of things, and he takes it extremely well. I'm not sure that's whether he doesn't listen or whether he's just a tough guy. But it's been a lot of fun knowing Trevor, a lot of fun working with him, and I wish him all the best in the future.
It's been fantastic. You're probably my favourite client, the most dynamic, witty and intense client we have.
Well, Trevor, I'm glad you made it. 10 years is a long time. Stick with it, and we hope to see you in another 10 years.
Let's go another 10.
It's not like working with anybody else, that's all I can say.
Onwards and upwards, as you say, Trevor.
Trevor, we may make fun of you, and most times, in all fairness, you deserve it. On behalf of all of us throughout the rest of the company, all 4,700 of us, you are part of this company, you are part of our culture, and we're happy to have you. And I think that your longevity of the next week or two is something that we'll all look forward to.